All right, welcome back to WMA Now with your host Chuck Stevenson. Tonight we're going to be previewing UFC Fight Night Namajunas versus Cortez, aka UFC Denver. We've got three ladies bouts, all three in the flyweight division, and the event, of course, is capped off by a flyweight bout between Rose Namajunas and Tracy Cortez. A little bit of everything with these bouts here. Let's start in order. Down at the prelims, flyweight bout, Luana Santos taking on Mariya Agapova. I don't have a whole lot to say about this fight. I forgot it was even happening until this week. Let's just go ahead and get into the stats on it. Santos coming in at 7-1, Agapova coming in at 10-4. Big difference in what's been going on with these ladies lately. So Santos is riding four straight. She's 2-0 in the UFC. Defeated Juliana Miller 10 months ago via TKO, and then picked up a decision over Stephanie Edgar up at bantamweight 7 months ago. Whereas Agapova, she had a win, almost 3 years ago against Sabina Mazo. A few months later, defeated or lost to Marina Moroz via submission, and then last fought a year and 9 months ago, dropped a submission loss to Jillian Robertson. So she has been out for a while. Santos is the younger fighter, 24-27 for Agapova. They're the same height, 5 feet 6 inches, 168 centimeters. And the reach is slightly in Agapova's favor, 68.5 inch, 174 centimeters to 67 inches, 170 centimeters for Santos. Now, as I was saying, I don't have a whole lot to say on this fight. I mean, Mariya Agapova has not fought. I can't even remember. Maybe she was dealing with injuries. I can't even remember. She's a bit of a basket case, and that's putting it lightly. She did just have I think it was a submission bout over in Karate Combat, or their pit submission series. Dropped that one in 31 seconds, but I mean, she's not really a grappler. Certainly not a submission grappler. She's rusty. Santos isn't. I mean, Santos has fought like twice. No, I'm sorry. She's fought 3 times since Agapova last fought. So Santos is the fresher fighter. She's the younger fighter. And as far as I know, she's not a head case. So she should have the advantage. Now, Santos fought her last bout at bantamweight and then missed it by like 3 pounds over the absolute limit of 136. Technically 4 pounds if you consider that bantamweight's supposed to be 135. I don't know what was going on with that one. Maybe she took that fight, and I don't know if she took it on short notice. I can't remember. But hopefully she has a good, easy time making flyweight this time. We're going to go with Luana Santos. Then continuing at flyweight, still on the prelims, we have Jasmine Jadusdavicius taking on the debuting Fatima Kline. This is a fight that a lot of the hardcore fans, like myself, and presumably you, if you're watching this, are going to be looking forward to. Fatima is a hot prospect. She's a blue chip prospect. Comes in highly regarded and undefeated. Now she's moving up in weight and on short notice, basically a week's notice, to take on Jadusdavicius, who was preparing for. Who was she preparing for? Viviane Araújo. So this is going to be a very different opponent than what she was prepping for. But she also was prepping to fight at altitude and had a full camp behind her. So we shall see here. Looking at the stats here, Jadusdavicius coming in at 10-3. The Archangel Klein coming in undefeated at 6-0. Jadusdavicius coming on off of a submission win over Priscilla Cachoeira 5 months ago. Preceded by a decision loss to Tracy Cortez 9 months ago. Now, Klein picked up a decision win over Andressa Romero 5 months ago in CFFC, where she won the vacant strawweight title. Before that, picked up their vacant flyweight title over Sarakova. That was 8 months ago. And finished that one via TKO. Let's see. Klein is the younger fighter at 24 to 35 for Jadusdavicius. Jadusdavicius is a late starter in MMA. She will be slightly taller at 5'7", 170 centimeters to 5'6", 168 centimeters for Kline. Reach is virtually identical, 68 inches, 173 centimeters for Jazz to 67.5 inch, 171 centimeters for Kline. So, win or lose, a lot of people are really looking forward to seeing Kline in the UFC. Like I was saying, she's a blue chip prospect, although I will say that the levels of hype I've seen for her have been a bit on the ridiculous side. Like, people are already saying, oh, she's a future champ and she's ready for the top 10 right now. And that's at strawweight, where she already said she'll be going back after this fight, win or lose. This isn't an easy debut for her. She's making her UFC debut on a week's notice in Denver, so one of the highest cities by elevation in the world. No real prep for it. No real prep for elevation. No real prep for any fight. She was supposed to fight on a Contender Series in September. Yeah, this is not going to be an easy fight for her. I do give the striking advantage to Jadusdavicius. I mean, she's slightly taller. They're actually closer in size than I thought. That actually makes Klein a big strawweight. Interesting. On the ground, definitely go with Fatima Kline here. I'm leaning Jadusdavicius, and so is 72% of 1,800 voters on Tapology. But Kline, honestly, I'm surprised it's that much in favor of Jadusdavicius, because, like I was saying, the hype behind Kline is very big. But we'll go with Jadusdavicius, but if Kline wins, I will not be surprised. And then we'll see what she does down at strawweight. So then we move up to the main event. Rose Namajunas taking on Tracy Cortez. This is another short notice fight, because Namajunas was supposed to be facing Macy Barber. And I had actually talked about Cortez replacing Barber in a previous video, which you can go check out. Very different fight for Namajunas than what she was facing in Barber, but it should be a good one. It's going to be a big test for Tracy Cortez. Rose is by far the best fighter that she'll have ever fought. Looking at the stats, Thug Rose coming in at 12-6, Cortez coming in at 11-1. Cortez, I believe she's undefeated in the UFC overall. Yeah, she's undefeated since her pro debut back in 2017 for Invicta. Now, Thug Rose picked up her first win at flyweight 3 months ago over Amanda Hebos. Preceded that by a loss to Manon Fior in her flyweight debut. Cortez, her last two fights, she picked up a decision win over Melissa Gatto. That was, 2 years ago. And then 9 months ago, picked up the decision win over Jadusdavicius. Cortez is the younger fighter at 30-32 for Thug Rose. They are the same height, 5'5", 165 centimeters, and reach is virtually identical. 65.5 inches, 166 centimeters for Cortez, to 65 inches, 165 centimeters for Namajunas. So as I was saying, Rose was preparing for Macy Barber. Cortez presents a very different fight, much more grappling heavy than Barber. Also, I would say she has a more measured approach to fighting than Barber. You know, Barber is all about the aggression and the pressure and just throwing big, heavy bombs, whereas Cortez is a more wrestling-focused fighter and, isn't about making the big moves the way Barber is. So very different. Now, the advantage as far as, prep time and the elevation, well, that goes to Namajunas. She lives in Colorado. She trains in Denver. So she's used to fighting here. Cortez is not. I mean, she trains in Arizona, definitely not as high in elevation as Denver. So that will definitely favor Namajunas. I would say that Cortez has never faced a striker as well put together as Namajunas either, especially with the jab. Namajunas' jab is money. It's going to be a tough fight for Tracy Cortez. Now, like I said, she is a more of a wrestler, and that is traditionally Namajunas' kryptonite. So that could play in her favor. But I definitely favor Thug Rose here. So do 72% of 2,300 pickers on Tapology. So we're going to go with Thug Rose. Ultimately, I think it's going to come down to where she is mentally. Because sometimes she's on in fights, and then other times she's off. A lot of people thought she didn't look too good in Fiora, but I think she still won a round against her, if I remember correctly. And she's dealing with a broken finger. Did well against Hebos, but not great. Like good, but not great against Hebos. So we'll see how Rose comes in, like what kind of state she's in. But for now, the pick is going to be Rose Namajunas. So that is your WMMA preview for UFC Denver, aka UFC Fight Night, Namajunas versus Cortez. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like the vid, hit that thumbs up button. While you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to WMMA Now, the best, most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.